All right, live. Please let me know how my audio is, because I gotta know, because I gotta balance it. But thank you for joining me if you're here. And if you're watching this not live, then go down below. There'll be a little thing to where I actually start watching the video. But what I'm going to do today is there's a bunch of DNA results that come up that people share videos of them reacting to their DNA results. We're going to start with the Hispanics because Hispanics are the most diverse ethnically and racially of anybody, I think, because you could find a Cuban that's like 100% white, Argentinian like Messi 100% white, and then you can find like and there's Cubans that are 100% black too. There's Mexicans that have a lot of Asian ancestry. There's a large Chinese population there. And people tend to not understand, even when they are Hispanic, what that means. And a lot of times they find out they're white and they don't like that for some reason. I don't know. I'm fine with being white. I like it. I'd be fine with whatever other race. All the races are cool, but we're going to do this today, and we're going to go through a few videos. I got some Hispanics. I got some white guys, Afro Latinos, all these different groups of people that we're going to watch these videos. And I'm going to try to guess as well what they are. Like this video right here, this chick is white. I'm sorry. I know you don't like that. She's going to be white. She's going to be mostly white. And I don't know what she thought she was. I don't know if she thought Hispanic or Ecuadorian was going to show up on her DNA test, but that's not a DNA unless you're indigenous, which she doesn't look like she has a lot of indigenous blood. She looks like a white chick. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to do it. Like the video, please. I appreciate it. And I'm just going to get started. Put the little timestamp in here. Content start, save that. Okay. And let's go. Oh, please, somebody in the comments, tell me how my audio is if I'm loud enough compared to the video.
Oh my gosh!
I am 88.7%.
What did you think you were? Look at your face. Like, what did you think you were? Carolina Reynoso? Where does Reynoso come from? Let's... Reynoso, last name, origin. I'm going to go with Catalonia or Spanish and Portuguese. Okay, Palencia. Wrong side of Spain, but that's all right.
European.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Today we're going to be taking a DNA test.
Finally,
Oh
to
my
find
God.
out if I'm 100% Puerto Rican. I
What
really
is
hope
that?
I get
What do you mean 100% Puerto Rican? What do you think that means? Puerto Rican is not a race, dude. Like, you have to know that.
full 100% Mexican.
Dude, oh my God. Are you... This is worse than I thought already.
100% Mexican. If I don't get 100% Mexican, I'm gonna be.
Okay, you're white. This guy's mostly white. This is what's known as a castizo. And they probably don't know that Spain is in Europe. Yeah, I mean, they're demonstrating complete ignorance by just saying I'm 100% Mexican. 100% Mexican, it's not a thing. What do you mean? 100% American? That doesn't mean, it means just as little. This is already infuriating. So let's get into it. Maybe I'll get mad today. I don't usually get mad.
Sad.
I don't know a lot about my family past.
Okay, so that flag. Okay, Sri Lanka. This is interesting. I think that's Sri Lanka. And then over here, Dominican Republic. So the Dominican Republic has a lot of African ancestry. Yeah, it has a lot of African ancestry. She probably knows that, and she probably knows that she's black, but I wouldn't guess it, but that's Sri Lankan. That's going to be like Indian, Tamil, whatever.
My grandparents, and I kind of like it that way.
I feel like I know it's going to be
Okay, white, mostly white, little indigenous.
Español, tío.
What did
Okay,
you find out
she
you were like a
She knows what she's talking about. Thank you, lady.
queen in your ancestry?
I wouldn't be
She's got-
surprised.
This one over here.
I'm from the DR and Sri Lanka. So like, there's some black in there, but my mom's last name is very white, so something weird probably happened there.
I hope
Okay, so that her mom's last name being very white likely comes. She probably has some Portuguese DNA in her, and that comes from the colonization there. And that's probably like it could have just been adopted without any white ancestry as well. It could have been adopted as a last name, but she likely has a like that half is going to be mostly African, and then the Sri Lankan is going to have some of that Tamil DNA, that ancestry, and then there's probably a little bit of European blood as well.
that I'm Bad Bunny's cousin.
Imagine.
I want to know like how much like indigenous I
Yeah, and you can tell just by looking at her that she looks like she has some indigenous, but she also has plenty of European ancestry, if I were to guess.
have. That's like the main thing I want to know. So first thing, let's open these.
Spit into the funnel until the amount of liquid
they're gonna show
saliva
this part.
reaches the.
Gross.
That's so much.
Oh,
Hell nah.
to what line?
I don't know if I have that much in me, you know?
Ready, set, spit.
I don't know why we're doing
Stop.
this. Ew.
Okay, that's it.
So now we have to close this.
What? Okay, he didn't just snort that, did he?
That's it.
So now we have to close this.
Oh, okay.
Now we're gonna ship it.
And we wait, I think 3 to 5 weeks. I know. Okay, so it's been about 4 to 5 weeks. We finally got the results. I'm super scared, nervous. I'm excited. I don't know.
I'm anxious. I don't know what I am. I'm having an identity crisis.
Ugh, God, if your identity is wrapped entirely around your race, whether you're white or whatever, find something else. Find something more important. Something that maybe you did something for.
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm worried I'm white.
Oh, we're in.
Okay, what do we do? What do we do?
I hate that.
Oh my
You're
God,
worried you're
I'm
white, number one, you're not.
71.9%.
Yeah, of course you are, number one. But also, she's worried she's white. Why would you be worried?
European. Hey!
Cool. He's happy about that. And then he's got sub-Saharan African. Okay, this little bit, 9.8, probably about somewhere between an 8th and a 16th, and then a lot of indigenous. This is pretty normal for, I wish they said where he was coming from specifically.
Spanish and Portuguese, 69.8.
Okay, Rosalia.
0.3% Italian.
Okay, that's noise, dude. That's absolutely noise because of people moving, like broadly Southern European is 1%. Like they're not that specific. And then the Ashkenazi Jewish, that's noise as well. I mean, there's plenty of like traces of Ashkenazi Jewish population of blood in people, especially in Spain, because Spain had like they forced people to stop practicing Judaism.
No wonder I like pasta so much.
Such
Why
an
is this
idiotic
like
thing to say.
the most
Broadly so.
broad, like white
It's not, dude. It's all Southern European. It's none of the good ones.
DNA
It's a very,
test?
very white DNA test.
Ashkenazi
Ashkenazi
Jewish,
Jewish, everyone's a little bit
0.8, 3.2%.
What do you mean everyone's a little bit Ashkenazi Jewish? No, Hispanics, a lot of the time, when they're white, are a little bit Ashkenazi Jewish. And then this is, of course, likely, the sub-Saharan African is likely, this is like slavery. And then North African, like the Reconquista, there's plenty of North African, Middle Eastern blood in people in Spain and Portugal because they were there for so long.
Percent Congolese and Southern East African. Let's go to the Congos.
Oh, we're going to the
These people are
Come
midwit
on,
idiots.
let's go. Recent ancestry in the Americas, Caribbean. Ponce, Puerto Rico. Wow, Ponce. I got some blood in Ponce there. Hey. I'm honestly very surprised at the fact that I have more indigenous American blood than African blood.
Why?
I already saw a number I don't know.
Why would you be surprised about that? They didn't look, the Puerto Rico, like they came in, they enslaved the indigenous Tanao people, the conquistadors. These people's well, that guy, not all of them are Puerto Rican, but his ancestors enslaved those people, and they brought a few Africans, but mostly they just worked all the indigenous people to death in death from disease, and then they just had a mostly white island.
Which one?
Oh, he's mad because this guy's 80% white. She's more indigenous, but he is going to be 85% white.
44% European.
Oh, wow. Okay. I stand corrected. That's more than I thought.
I already saw a number I don't like.
Which one?
44.
Okay. That's a surprise to me. He's got the indigenous American. The Chinese that's noise that comes in. Any Native American getting a DNA test is going to have a little bit of that East Asian DNA just because that's where Native Americans came from, 15 to 45, however many. We don't really know how long. It used to be, of course, Clovis first, 12,500 years ago. That's no longer true. It's 15, 20,000, maybe more. We don't know how many waves there were, but that's always going to be in there just because of the way they test the genetics. How can they even trace Ashkenazi genes when they constantly moved across Europe and interbred with the population? That's why you have a lot of noise of the Ashkenazi population. But because at a certain point, and a lot of the time, they were, especially prior to like the 19th century, people were living in their own communities, even within countries. Prior to the nation state, there would have been a village of Jewish people, a village of Czech people, like they're not going to be interacting as much, and they're going to be marrying a lot more often with each other within their localized ethnic group. And you see this in even more common in like the Balkans, where you have many, many more ethnic groups. And then, of course, you will have cities where there's going to be more mixing, but that was less common. And even then, there's going to be a social pressure to marry within your own ethnic, religious, whatever perceived group it is. For the case of Ashkenazi Jewish, it's both ethnic and religious. Yeah, I'm surprised you're not more European. So he's about half and half.
4% European.
Okay, I can see it. I was expecting
What do
more.
you mean? He's shocked.
46.9%
White boy?
East Asian Indigenous American.
Okay.
Oh.
Why would he say East Asian? Why would he say that? That's not you, bro.
Okay. I got those native roots, I'm very in
Yes.
touch.
What's up,
1% Jewish. What's up?
But you're not mad about that one?
Where's Mexico?
There you go.
Dude, where's Mexico? Oh, he doesn't know what indigenous American means. Mexicans are mostly, it's different in different areas. In some parts, like if you go to certain parts of the Yucatan Peninsula, in Quintana Roo and the other one over there, and in Belize, a lot of the people are full-blooded or close to it Mayan. Oh my God, dude. It pisses me off.
It even tells you like what part of Mexico I'm from. That's wild. Nuevo León, Jalisco. Jalisco is known for like a little bit more white, a little bit like
Yeah, you.
colored eyes, blonde hair. So that's super interesting. Chihuahua, you already know, baby. That's where I'm from. El Norte, El Paso, Texas. Shout out 915. 0.4% Italian. I think that's why I dress so well.
That shirt sucks, dude. That's like a bad shirt that a trashy white chick from the 80s would wear.
If you say so.
Oh my God, I'm
Thank
not white.
you.
Like at all. Oh, thank God. I'm mostly
don't
Central
like
and South Asian.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Her mom was full Central and South Asian. So this is this Tamil ancestry. You can see this green part. This is Tamil. India is not really a race. Excuse me. Indian's not really a race.
Southern Asian, 45%. We knew that. Southern Indian and Sri Lankan, 45.5%. Shocker. The other 36% is Sub-Saharan African. Are we surprised? No.
Okay, just so we're clear. Having dark skin does not make you Sub-Saharan African. People in New Guinea are black. Tamil people are black. They have very dark skin. You...
Oh no, European. 10%. That is an amount I can allow.
Whatever, dude.
So my mom is from the Dominican Republic.
I actually don't want to listen to this woman talk anymore.
An African, less 88 than we thought.
Oh my gosh.
I am 88.7% European.
Oh, so she doesn't have any sub-Saharan at all. She's got This is all Spanish and Portuguese. You know, the expected little bit of genetic noise, and then you know this is an 1/8 to a 16th indigenous, plus a little bit of this is also noise from Middle Eastern people.
Spanish and Portuguese.
Western Asian
I'm
just means Middle Eastern.
85.4%.
So no Italian.
No Italian. I'm 85.4%.
Yeah, no Italian. What is she Argentinian?
So no Italian.
No Italian.
Interesting.
I'm gonna call my mom about this. Oh, and what's the first state in Mexico that pops up? Jalisco, Mexico. Viva Mexico! The comments are gonna be like, she's not even. She's
Are
not
you even
I'm not
Latina at this?
Are you even Latina? The woman who is 88% Spanish and Portuguese, they think, are you even Latina? What do you think Latina means?
I'm kidding.
I am.
Rosalia's cousin.
I know I called you Rosalia. Mira.
Mira.
Please.
Okay, view report.
We don't want to kick you out from the team.
40%.
Okay, so they have a very similar amount of a mix. They were both like 40-40. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is this guy was not more European. He has a very European phenotype.
40.9% East Asian and Indigenous.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm...
40%.
She's got... This is 10% British and Irish. I wish I remembered where she was from. See if I could find it. Where'd she say she was from? Mexico, maybe? Oh, okay, that makes sense. What is that? Belize, I think? So that was an area that the English came in later. And they came in. I think that's Belize or Honduras. Central America, below Mexico, had a lot of British people move in.
Latina. Rosalia's cousin.
I know I
The team.
40%, 40.9% East Asian and Indigenous. I wanted 70 or 80.
You're 4% less colonized than I am. Congratulations.
Dude, you are the colonizer. You're not colonized. You're the colonizer. Half of you colonized the other half. This is you. And then they're going to get mad at white people like me that are full-blooded Irish. Not I'm like 3/4 Irish, but like that's colonized. I got a little bit of English blood. That's the colonizer. Idiots. Moronic.
From Spanish and Portuguese, 27%.
Exactly.
Welcome to the team.
Northwestern European, British.
I can see that, the class, the elegance that you carry.
Idiot. This guy's an idiot. I got to find out what flag that is. Belize. Yeah, I think that was Belize.
From Nicaragua, I have Managua.
Okay.
What?
Nicaragua. Right. That was the flag it is. It's Nicaragua, not Honduras or Belize. But that's where that British is coming from, those Central American countries.
I'm from Chinandega, which is number
Okay.
3.
Mine too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Indigenous Mexicans were also aggressive colonizers. They were colonizing each other. Like the Aztecs are colonizing. I think the Mayans a little bit less. But yes, it's sometimes, you know, colonization has kind of a set definition, but I would argue that a lot of the practices of people like the Aztecs could be considered colonization. But things like the Flower Wars, I mean, there was a more ritualistic side of combat, which likely would have went away as they developed. I would love to see how they would have developed without European intervention, but you know, maybe in heaven.
Mine was a
Okay. All of El Salvador is lit up right now. I've never been to El Salvador, but I have like a bunch of departments that were connected to me.
They call them departments. They don't call them cities or states.
Well, in Nicaragua, we call them departamentos. So,
Not states or cities.
no, we had an ancestor from Lebanon. I don't see Lebanon here, so somebody lied.
unfortunately I did not discover that I'm Princess Diana's long lost
Unfortunately
relative
not.
or a long lost royal.
What surprised you the
She was all worried about being white and mad about it, and then she thought she might be related to Princess Diana. So it's okay to be white if you're like from the royal side, which are the people doing the colonizing. Midwit ass.
most?
The 44% European.
Oh my gosh.
Like no offense to the Europeans, you know, to my vanilla.
Offense taken. You clearly don't. Like, you view being white as bad. So, no. Like, it's not okay.
Friends out there, love all of you.
I was worried I was gonna have 90 siblings, like that documentary that I watched last
That's
week.
funny.
So at least that didn't happen.
Like I'm 1%
1% Jewish. I don't think you can claim that.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you just say you're Mexican and I'm Puerto Rican. And that's
that's
it.
that.
Don't
Yeah.
think about it too much.
Maybe they only said that once they found out they were pretty white, but all right, we're going to move on to another one. That was probably the most rage-inducing one. The look on her face, let's just guess that she's going to be upset that she's white because the tone of her skin is not that of somebody who is 100 or even 75% African. It doesn't happen. Unless, well, besides like Africa is very diverse genetically. So like Khoisan people who are the indigenous people of Southern Africa, they would have a similar skin tone to that. Actually, I'll just pull them up. I know I've talked about them before. Irish in Ireland will get mad at you for claiming to be Irish. So that is a thing that is true of liberal Irish people whose opinions I don't care about. In my experience, right-wing Irish people are very happy about the diaspora in the US and Canada and Australia. Like they like it. And I don't care. Like I'm not Irish as a national side. I'm Irish genetically. Like that's in my genetics. So of course, liberal people who care nothing about genetics and race, they're not going to care if somebody is genetically Irish. And you know, a lot of Irish Americans, like people that are claiming being Irish, they're maybe like 1/8, and they don't really have any connection to it. But like for me, it's my family is still very connected to Irish culture. My uncles are in like the Order of the Hibernians and the what's it called? And the Knights of Columbus. I'm one generation removed from like connections to the IRA. I like, and my blood is majority Irish. So I don't care if some liberal Irish person, it's like, no, you're not Irish. It's like, okay, it's not I'm Irish American. That's what I claim because that's what I am. I'm American. The Irish is the type of American I am. I don't care. I have been called white Mexican so many times. Yeah, bro, Castizo nationalism. That's where we're at. And what's up, Minoan? Glad to see you. But yeah, I'm just going to share these. These are Khoisan people. These are the indigenous people of Southern Africa. And yeah, so these people, they have this skin tone. This is natural. This guy's a little bit darker. Of course, there's going to be differences between them. But this dude right here, he's pretty light, but he's likely 100% Khoisan. And you can see other phenotypical differences between them and some other. Oops, I did not share the tab. You can see other phenotypical differences between them and like Bantu, and then Bantu gets broken down. There's some crazy people like the Nilotics that are super dark, super tall, and some of that stuff, which, you know, we'll probably get into that in a later video, but there's plenty of examples of later European colonization, they would pick a specific ethnic group in an area, and they would use that local power and they would support that local power over a weaker power. And unfortunately later this plays into a lot of I can't say the G word here, but there's a lot of those, like in Rwanda and Uganda, the Hutus and the Tutsis, some real gnarly stuff that happened. Gnarly is probably not the right word. It's worse than gnarly. Yeah, Khoi guys with click and clacks. So, wait, is that a real thing, or you just say that? But yes, a lot of the Khoisan languages have those clicks in them. So when they're talking, like one of the largest groups of Khoisan are the my pronunciation of the clicks is really bad, but it's like the Kung people, they flick their tongue and they make it click. Car Guys is an NPR show. Yes, I remember Car Guys. I used to listen to that with my dad all the time, every weekend. But yeah, Khoisan people, a lot of their languages have clicks in them. There's also some places, I think in Central America, where some indigenous languages have whistles, which is really cool. And maybe we'll get into that at some point. I'll have Doc Brown on again, who's a linguist, and we'll talk about it. Koi have the oldest DNA, so darker skin is a later adaptation. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Obviously I don't go into the DNA a lot. I'm less informed on DNA and genetics than I am on like culture, but we'll look at that. But right now, let's do some more Afro-Latinos getting DNA tests.
I just wanted to be more black. That's all. That's all I had wanted.
Okay, I'm not mad at that one. I understand because like culturally, she's black. There's this one drop rule, right? You can see from her phenotype, I'm assuming that she is actually more white than she is black. There might be other mixes. I don't know where she's from, so there could be also some indigenous DNA in there. There likely is. But I'd be willing to bet that she is more white than she is black.
I didn't want to be a part of colonization.
Well, you are. Oh, yeah. Louisiana Creole. That's funny. So Creole is actually a broader term in anthropology, which like the Creole language in Louisiana is a Creole language. There's plenty of other Creole languages. There's a development of language that that happens where there are languages that like a normal language. No, I shouldn't say normal, but that's the best word I have for it. Like a language develops in a certain way, just like naturally. And then there's Creole languages that are a mix of those languages. And there's contextual languages that are like trade languages. I'm forgetting the name for those right now, but that would be called syncretism. But yeah, Afro-Latinos get DNA tested. But we're going to be talking about Creole languages on the channel very soon here with Doc Brown. So subscribe if you're not. Please like the video if you haven't already. Helps me out. And keep going.
My name is Mariah y soy mexicana.
Hi, my name's Eli and I'm Puerto Rican.
Hola, mi nombre.
Okay, let's
My name is Mariah.
Okay, so Mariah, Mexican, cool shirt, Metallica. I would hang out with this woman.
Y soy mexicana.
Hi, my name's Eli.
Okay, Eli. Eli looks darker than most Puerto Ricans. This is interesting.
And I'm Puerto Rican.
Hola, mi nombre es Lobby Flores y soy de Honduras.
I'm Dominican, obviously. Today,
Obviously, this is the latest. Oh, yes. Thank you, Vulpes. A pidgin language. Yes, that's the contextual trade language. She does not look Dominican. She is the lightest Dominican person I've ever seen in my life.
we are doing a DNA test. Afro-Latinos are getting a DNA test from 23andMe, and I'm excited.
Being Puerto Rican and being this color and kind of the history of Puerto Rico, I've always been very curious what my background is.
So I think that guy is going to be more white than he is black, but much more black DNA than you would expect in an average. Average, of course, being, in this case, average. There's going to be basically no one that's actually average. It's like average is the combination of all of them. But that guy probably has mostly white DNA, but quite a bit of sub-Saharan, which is less there. It's less common in Puerto Rico and Cuba and Argentina, Chile than other Latin American countries.
My family constantly talks about being europeo. Like, they're always saying, like, nosotros, la familia de nosotros viene de Europa.
Yeah, so this is a cultural difference, right? So she is American. So she lives in America. But if you're in one of these Latin American countries, even still today, and definitely more so likely in past decades, they would be the social capital. They want to be more white. But now, because it's the reverse and she's in America, she wants to be more white. Or excuse me, she wants to be more black. That's what she views as more positive. So that's a very interesting, generational and geographical shift in that.
Because you know the Dominicans, but I'm like, I look black. Like,
No, you don't. I understand in America, people say you look black. I understand your hair is pretty black, but no, you look more white than you do black.
I know I come from Africa.
I was in an elementary school called Cesar Chavez.
I'm just gonna okay, so most people in the Western Hemisphere that come from that are sub-Saharan, they come from the Gold Coast, right? And this is Gold Coast, also called the Slave Coast. I just prefer to call it the Gold Coast, and around the Gold Coast, just because you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? But like when they're Bantu people mostly, right? And like when you're looking at Bantu people, they look like this. They look like this. And of course there's going to be variation within this. There's going to be people that are lighter, people that are darker, but like look at this. They're very dark. That woman is not that dark, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with being white. It's okay to be white. Oops. I shut it down. Shut it down, pulling it back up. I used to work with a Puerto Rican who looked like Hammurabi, no cap. Yeah, that's true. So there's going to be some of them. And generally there was, you know, there was a marrying within your race happening within Puerto Rico for a long time. Dominicans often refuse to be black because of Haitians. Yes. One of my closest friends who I grew up with is a Dominican guy who is Afro-Latino. He's very, very dark. Well, he's not very, very dark in the context of like Bantu people, but he is dark. He considers himself black. I don't argue with that. He's black and Dominican, Afro-Latino, right? But he has so many other Dominican friends who are like, no, papi, yo soy blanco, yo soy blanco. Like I'm white, but they're not. You know, they're maybe closer to it than he is, but they're not. Yeah, love Dominican people, love Puerto Rican people. I grew up around a lot of both, and I live in a place in Connecticut which has a lot of Puerto Ricans in it. Love them, love their culture. Yeah, you guys know this is a pro-Hispanic channel. That's what we're doing here. I love Hispanics. But yeah, let's keep going. Afro-Latinos. This woman's beautiful, has a Metallica shirt.
Elementary, and that was the only time that I felt that I didn't belong. I would go to school and they would be like, oh, you're the negrita, like you're the negrita, and I would just be like, yo.
Negrita, meaning this is a Spanish term. It means little black woman or little black person. Well, negrita means woman, but like that's the type of straightforward racism you'll get in Latin America.
Soy mexicana también. Like I always talk to them and they would just be like, no, like it was just always a.
Yeah, okay, so she's Mexican, and Mexico doesn't have a lot of sub-Saharan DNA in it. It's mostly white and indigenous.
Fight.
In the Latino community, and especially in the Dominican community, racism is so alive.
Yeah,
and colorism is so alive.
Yes,
and the lighter
it is.
you are, con el pelo más muerto that it is, then it's like you're better. And like, that's ridiculous, and it's bullshit. I'm nervous because
And that is bullshit.
I don't know if
in
I'm
my
gonna play
opinion. I
into
understand
like
a lot of racist
what
people
the
watch
results
show,
are gonna
but
be.
You guys know I'm not
Ansiosa,
personally
quiero ver de dónde agarré todo esto.
I don't know.
No, yeah, she's not very Mexican looking because most Mexicans are castizo or mestizo, which castizo being that it used to mean that you're 100% white versus a peninsulare who would have been born in Spain and 100% white. Now it just means mostly white castizo versus mestizo, which is a mix of indigenous and white DNA, which is the majority of Mexicans do fit into this mestizo. No. She definitely has sub-Saharan DNA. That's why she doesn't look castizo.
Okay. Register kits now. Oh, this is
I
nice.
think she does. We
Girl,
haven't seen
I am not the best person for this. Oh my god. I
they're
do
gonna
not
show
follow
the
directions.
spit
The
Come
weirdest
on.
part is I'm about to spit and you guys are watching. They'll be seeing how I be spitting.
Oye, pero mi boca cabe aquí.
Tua, right?
This is so gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
Girl.
Why are we doing this?
No tengo ni saliva.
Shit ever.
This is so, wow, this is exhausting. All right, I think I did it.
Close it up. I mail in the kit. Simple as that. At-home science kit.
All right, I guess to the lab it goes. Dum-ba-dum. That's the African calling. Dum-ba-dum. Dum-bum.
You got a lot of character. Doing the Wakanda
The
thing.
results are in.
I honestly feel like I'm nervous. Like I'm about to walk into like my very first.
A Swiss colony in Michoacan. Michoacan. Did I pronounce that right? Guerra de Rancho Mico. I can't read it because it's too small. Guerra de Donde Guerra. That's a good Beck song. De Donde Guerra. It means like white boy or something. Guerra de Rancho Michoacano. I don't know what that means. But yeah, Castizo nationalism, brother, with a nice afro. Very nice. You got a little bit of that spice in there. Swiss colony. That's interesting. There's a few of these places where you have like weird European colonies. Like there was a Swedish colony in Latin America, a Swiss colony. Obviously Dutch was early, but they didn't stick around.
audition. Yo me
They all
siento
got
muy
cottonmouth.
emocionada,
Yeah,
me
they
siento muy excited, como dicen.
Okay, come on. Oh, wow. So I'm 40.9% European. 30.
Okay. I could have guessed that. Okay, so but he's not majority white. It is it's a plurality of white. And then indigenous, quite indigenous. Not that this is interesting because not a lot of generally Puerto Ricans have less indigenous DNA than this. Unfortunately, because of the completeness of the I guess culling, for lack of a better word, that's going to let me stay up here, of the population of the indigenous people there. It's a tragic story. It was one of the first ones, and it was very complete. The Tanao culture is like completely gone.
33.7% East Asian Native American. So Native.
Yeah, so he's more Native American than he is black. I would have expected him to be more like 60% white and then like 15 and 15 of black and Native, but more indigenous. That's very interesting. It's very rare to be that percentage.
I'm 31.4% Native Puerto Rican.
See, he's surprised
Yo, bow down.
Well, your one ancestor's grapes your other ancestors, so I don't know if you should be cheering for that, but that's okay.
Holy shit, my grandma was right. That's significant. Sub-Saharan African, 17%. I'm like a little bummed out by that. I pride myself on these curls on this fro, and
Okay, but that your curls could just come from being Spanish. Like, people have that hair in Spain. Not that much, but, 17% black is going to do that to your hair if you're already Spanish.
I guess this is all just 17% right here. I guess that's just what it is.
Okay. Wow, I'm 40.2% West African. West African. I'm 1.4% African hunter gatherer.
What does that mean? She said the same thing I did. What does that mean? That's weird.
I'm 27.4% European. Who is European? Was on this?
What do you mean? Where are my Latino roots? What do you mean? They're in the European, dude.
¿Dónde está todo mi Latino? Like, no, I don't see it anywhere. This is some weird-ish. Oh, ahí está. Oh, 19.9% Native American, Mexico. So 20% pretty much. At the end of the day, we all come from Africa. That's how I feel. So.
Out of Africa is no longer the prevailing theory, by the way. After King Philip's War, the Puritans sold natives to Puerto Rico. Yes, that's true. So King Philip's War, which happened between 1675 and 1678, this was when the New England Confederation, which this is obviously 1675, it's 100 years before the country was founded. In King Philip's War, and thank you for saying that, because that reminded me that it might not just be Tanao. It could be Tanao being the indigenous people of Puerto Rico. But yes, so the losers of King Philip's War, these were Eastern Algonquin Native Americans from the Narragansett, from the Wampanoag. These are all Eastern Algonquin groups, many more Eastern Algonquin groups. I've done archaeology personally on King Philip's War. And yeah, King Philip's War, the Pequot War happened in 1635. The Pequot lost. The Pequot were actually on the side of the New England colonizers, New England Confederation, rather. Also true colonizers, but I meant to say Confederation. The Pequot fought with the New England side against the other Eastern Algonquins. And so, yes, actually, his indigenous DNA could be partly from my home state my home region of New England, likely not from Connecticut, because of like the Pequot were on our side, on the New England side for that, but other Eastern Algonquins. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. King Philip's War does not get talked about a lot because 17th century history is just not discussed, but it's one of my favorites. and it was per the percentage of the population, percentage of the white population in the European population in the New World, in the British colonies, was the largest rate of unaliving of that population of any other war since, including the Civil War. It was like 2, 3, 4% of the European population died in this war. Higher if you just count New England. It was quite a deadly war, and it was an extermination war on both sides, where you had the you had both the Native Americans, the Eastern Algonquin side, and the New England colony, New England Confederation, rather, not one colony, multiple colonies in this confederation. They fought each other, and they were trying to attack each other's food supplies. The natives were killing cows to send a message. There's some cows that were found in King Philip's War that had hundreds of arrows shot into them. That's a message. That cow is long since not alive, and they're just shooting into it as to send a message. I hate the out of Africa theory so much, mainly because normies have abused it so much. Yes. Who came to America first? Tejanos or gringos? I don't know. I love it when Sefer disproves out of Africa on Twitter. The way he stomps the Afro lovers is funny. Yeah, I haven't seen him do that specifically. He says he does some great stuff. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't have the prejudices that he has, but he does some good work. 1% rule is only for Mexicans are independent and sovereign. I did not know that. Thank you for sharing that. Stone Age gringos. Guerra is like blonde or white. Rancho is like ranch or farm. Yeah, Rancho is an expression for someone who looks like foreign but is actually from rural Mexico. Oh, cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Let's keep going with this.
This is, I don't know, I just feel so surprised.
Oh my God, I'm about to die.
She's too white. She doesn't like it. Sorry.
This is just not what I was expecting. I am 48.7% European,
Yeah.
35% African, with 7.9% being Native American from Dominican Republic. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Like I'm laughing, but inside I'm kind of just like, girl, I would call my mom. And I just wanted, let's see what she's gonna say. Come on. You know, Dominican moms, they real reckless with the mouth. So don't take anything too serious. 48.7% European? That's like nearly 50% of who I am.
Hello?
Hey, Mom.
Look, it's 50% of your blood. That doesn't make you who you are. I'm 75%, 65, whatever, Irish. You don't know how much British is in there, English, but like, that doesn't make me Irish. Like, I'm Irish blood, yeah, but I'm American. That's what makes me who I am. You decide what makes you who you are. It doesn't have to be like that. Whatever.
Mom.
Hey, mi amor.
¿Cómo tú estás?
How are you? Bien. Yes.
Mommy, so I just got my Ancestry DNA results
so
back.
happy
I am
how white she is.
48.7 European.
What? Who is that? You know what? Que el papá de mamá. Y los dos hermanos.
Yeah, she is Dominican. They have a lot of mulatto. They have a lot of mix. Actually, in the Dominican Republic versus Haiti, Dominican Republic has more white DNA in it. Haiti has less. Haiti had like 3 groups in their civil war. There was whites, which are like full white people, and then coloreds, which was a mix of white and black, and then full black. And of course, there's probably some difference between them, but one of the few times when there's 3 sides in a civil war, which is interesting in itself.
Son españoles. That I know. El negro de nosotros viene de parte de papá. Si tú ves la mamá de papá, que I met her, y el pelo era tranquilo. No puedo hablar muy alto aquí.
Mommy, you're being recorded.
I don't know what that means. Candy cane.
Goodbye, Julissa. Call me.
Ok, soy solo África.
Sub-Saharan Africa, 64.7%. Afro-Latina, mi amor, ¿qué dije? ¿Qué dije?
I love her shirt.
Lo de asiático, ¿cómo? East Asian and Native American, 21.0%.
Oh my God, what's up with her eyes though? Is she okay?
Europea, 12.0%, 2.0%. British and Irish, hello.
Oh, cool.
I'm sweating, this is so exciting. Soy orgullosamente hondureña.
Okay, so yeah, Central American again. She has that little bit of British DNA. That's cool. A little bit of beans on the spice.
Africana, Afro-Latina, like I'm excited. At the end of the day, yo voy a seguir siendo who I am. I'm still gonna be Julissa. I'm still gonna have these curly, coily hair. I'm still gonna have melanin in my skin that's popping. I'm still going to be proud que soy negra y definitivamente voy a seguir siendo
Oh my God, you might be right about
dominicana
that.
hasta la tambora. Okay.
Well, this is the interesting thing is like now that I see these results and like you kind of see like currently culturally how we perceive ourselves. Now there's this Afro-Latino movement where honestly, like 5 years ago, I wouldn't like what is Afro-Latino? Like I'm from Chicago. There's not that big of a division. You just think we're all Latinos, we're all Latinx. But through our
Latinx.
culture and through our
Oh.
experiences and seeing who we are, we tend to break it down even more. And now I have that sense of pride that I'm Afro-Latino.
La verdad, para ser honesta, no pensé que era tanto de África. Sí nos habían dicho, pero a veces cuando pasan, ¿cómo se dice? Una cosa son los ancestros, otra cosa somos nosotros. No pensé de que todavía hubiera tanto de mí africano.
Dude, I cannot. The fact that he just used the term Latinx is insane. Like an actual Hispanic person using the term Latinx makes me think they grew up around white people. I don't know, maybe that's not true, but that's what I think.
This is amazing. Me siento muy orgullosa de tener mi sangre africana y todavía como mis hijos lo tienen.
Yeah, so SW, Irish equals 80% Indo-European. Oh my God, they're doing it to me. They're doing it to me. We've detected video in your stream that belongs to someone else. Don't shut me down, bro. Do not do this to me. But yes, that okay, we're done with that video. We're done with that video. We're not going to watch that video anymore. I don't want to get shut down again. Put this one on theater mode, give it a moment, let that warning go away. I don't. Am I back? Should be back. I'm going to try to edit one setting, so bear with me for a moment. See if there's anything I do. I'm not doing anything wrong. This is legal. It's fair use, bro. Like, this is not supposed to be wrong, but the automatic shutdown just happens. I don't know how larger channels, like, get away with it. Like, how they're able to do it so much. Okay, I'm here. Hey, please like the video. I appreciate it if you do that. And subscribe if you're not. We got plenty of anthropology stuff coming out. It's got to be something I can do, like an overlay. YouTube associates you with the thought criminals is why I wager. Maybe. I don't know. It seems automatic, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna get back to it in like 5 minutes. I'm just gonna see what I can do to maybe make myself bigger. Can I overlay the chat on the screen? What can I do? A permanence effect only showing still frames. Well, they even when I've had things shut down when I show just the still frame. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to be it. College libs use this shipwreck. I actually don't remember what shipwreck this is. It's it might be from Pearl Harbor or something. I picked it pretty quickly. I wanted to replace the old one because I don't think I don't think it was really good at showing what I do. I'm gonna make myself bigger. I want to be big. Oops. Ah. And college libs use language to define their in-group. They have to update. Yeah. See that quite a bit. Let's see if this does it. We're going to do half my face, half the video I'm sharing. See if that works. I hate my face being this big. But that's okay.
I know absolutely nothing.
You guys, Courtney, hold my hand.
I'm definitely gonna cry.
And Dad's gonna kill me.
Cousins.
I'm like ready, but also very nervous. Oh my goodness.
Today, a group of us who have been mistaken
for different races our whole lives
Are finally getting our DNA tested with 23andMe.
to either confirm what we know about our family history
Or find out if there's actually something to all those guesses.
that people have made our whole lives.
We're gonna send in our DNA samples, and in a few weeks, we'll find out our results.
That's a new one. I say that I'm from Colombia, half black,
Colombia's not a race.
half white, and I've also
You probably are half black, half white.
been mistaken recently for Russian. That's a new one.
Russian? I would love to hear more about how that happened.
I don't know.
People have assumed either I'm Samoan, I'm black, Italy, Israel, Brazilian, Mexican.
What? Samoan? There's no skinny Samoans. I've never seen one in my life. Israel?
Asian.
Native Hawaiian to Mexican, Spanish, Dominican, Indian,
I've been asked if I was black, Puerto Rican, or Cuban.
Egyptian I've gotten, Sri Lankan, Canadian, maybe because I'm just nice.
Canadian is not a race. A lot of these are not races.
People think I'm Latino a lot or just Mexican. I've gotten some sort of Asian, Chinese or Korean or Japanese. They
Like a
just
white
don't
guy.
know. People just generally.
With like a little bit of spice on there. I'm very quiet and the video is loud. Okay. Let me know how it is here.
I think I'm
How
not
we doing?
white.
A lot of people think I'm Asian, specifically Filipino. Suddenly they'll be like, whoa,
Oh,
I
he
didn't
does
know
look
you spoke
Filipino.
Spanish. How did you know how to speak Spanish so well?
Armenian, Russian, Italian.
People often
Italian.
think that I'm some form of Latina. Other than that, people think that I'm mixed.
French, Chinese, Japanese, Laotian, Korean, anything really.
Laos.
I find that people gravitate
from
towards
Laos.
groups that they find familiar. I don't usually find that I have a group. I usually kind of feel out of those circles.
I feel like there's a lot of internal struggle where I fit in exactly, because when I hang out with my Mexican family and I have this huge ass hair, like I'm one of the only people.
I think it was kind of tough as a kid. Got made fun of by white people for being Asian. Got made fun of by Asian people for being white. Got made fun of by both for
That
looking
sucks,
Latino
dude.
when my facial hair started growing in. And younger people like everything to be in neat little boxes.
It makes you feel a little bit alone, like you have nowhere that you belong. My mom's like a white lady, and people would ask my mother if I was adopted. So I always felt a little sad about it, but my mom would just be like, oh, they just need to see your father.
I feel like I can connect to many different cultures a lot easier being racially ambiguous. I do believe in the future that there will be more racially ambiguous people in this
He does
world.
look white Hispanic to me.
All my life, I haven't been told much about my background because my mom's white and my dad is black. They've had a lot of hardships having me
That's
and
not
being
ambiguous.
together. Since I was born, it was like, we're an interracial couple. People are gonna say stuff about it. Just live your life. So it was never really told much to me what I was specifically. It was more so like, people are gonna think you're weird because you're mixed. Just go with it and let people know that they're wrong. I've never
People think
been
that's
really
weird.
interested in knowing my background until recently. I was like,
Maybe more so
maybe
in,
I
like, the
should
90s, it
know
was
because
less
I'm
common.
half my father, so I'm going to be 50% African, but I'm sure he's not fully African either. On my mom's side, maybe 27% Irish, 23% German. I literally don't
get
have a
those
clue.
numbers?
My dad was single for a
You say
while.
25,
He
25.
met a lot of other Korean people through his job at the post office. The Korean pastor they all knew literally said, John, I know a good woman in Korea who needs a good man like you. They were writing letters back and forth for maybe a year, and it worked. Here I am today. If I had to break down my ethnicity,
you're mixed white and Asian, which is what he looks like. That's not, I guess he looks a little ambiguous, but like, yeah, you're Asian and white. I don't see the issue.
it would be 50% Korean. Curious to see how much Japanese or Chinese is also mixed in there. My dad's
I'm
side,
interested.
I literally know nothing about the European side of my heritage. People never seem interested in the European part. I'm actually very interested in that. I think 25% Irish, 25% English.
My father was born in China,
I wish they would say where these people come from, because where somebody is from in the United States gives you a really good idea of, well, where white people are from in the US gives you usually a pretty good idea about like what type of white they are.
to the US when he was very young, maybe around 5 or 6. So I'm pretty sure I'm 50% Chinese. My parents met in a hospital because my father was a doctor and my mother was a nurse. So my mom, her background is Italian and Polish. I know that my Italian family, their name is in the books at Ellis Island. So I'll be 25% Italian and 25% Polish. I've never been to any of those places.
My dad was born in Memphis, Tennessee. My mom was born in New Jersey. That's as far back the history of Courtney goes. I don't think I've been told anything about my family history either.
Wait, okay, what did she say? Oh God, I went back too far.
Going to be 50.
My father was a doctor and my mother was a nurse. So my mom, her background is Italian and Polish. I know that my Italian family, their name is in the books at Ellis Island. So I'll be 25% Italian and 25% Polish. I've never been to any of those places.
My dad was born in Memphis, Tennessee. My mom was
Okay.
born in New Jersey. That's a
Memphis, Tennessee is probably going to be English, and then New Jersey is probably Italian some English, maybe Irish, we'll see.
As far back the history of Courtney goes. I don't think I've been told anything about my family history either. What? Nor did I ask. I feel like I broke your brain when you were like, what? What do you mean you don't know? I am not adopted. My mom died when I was 4. And so I was raised by my dad and my grandparents and my aunts and uncles. I know nothing at all, but I have always been curious. But a wild guess, 30% African, maybe another 30% of some kind of European, 10% maybe South America kind of is. The last 30% unknown, because I don't even know where else would it go.
On my dad's side, we've been in America for at least 4 generations. Most of my mom's side is actually not around anymore. It's hard for us to find and get all these details at this point, which we have so very little records of. This is a complete wild guess. Like, I have no clue. I'm probably 20% Brazilian, 15% Polish.
Okay, Brazilian's not a race. Brazilian is not a race. What are you talking about? What does that mean? Why do people not know this?
15% Russian, 20% Spanish, 10% African, 10% Native American, 10% of like we just don't know.
I was born in Mexico. My mom and my dad were also born in Mexico. I want to do this because I have a really strong connection with my ancestors, and I'd love to put a region, culture, skin tone to like these beings that have guided me my whole life. If I had to guess, I'd probably say 50% Mexican or Native American, 25% European, Spanish to be specific, 25% North African, Moroccan.
So both of my parents are from the northern part of Mexico. My great-grandparents were born there. Beyond that, we actually don't really know very much. From the casual Googling I've done, I know that there is a history of Asian communities moving to Mexico. There is a slight chance.
Yeah, there is. So he might have some Chinese. I don't know. Hard to tell.
That I have an ancestry who might be Asian. If I were to take a guess, I'd probably say 70% indigenous Mexican, 30% from Spain or that general area because Mexico was colonized by Spain.
I bet
right
that's
now,
about
we're going
what
to
it
collect our DNA samples by spitting into a tube.
So we're going to send it off to 23andMe.
Kona Esselman, and I'm the. So are you guys renting operations? My name is Sam and Kona Esselman, and I'm the content and curation scientist on the Ancestry team here at 23andMe. So are you guys ready to hear about your results?
No!
Let's do this.
So Daniel, what do you already know or think you know about your heritage?
As far as I understand, my dad lived in Chicago, and I think his parents emigrated from the UK. I'm not actually sure. He doesn't really talk about it a lot.
Daniel, you are 51.4% East Asian and Native American, and that breaks down into 45.5% Korean.
Hey, all right. Good job, man.
I figured there'd be a little something there.
You are 48.5% European.
Oh, wow. All right.
46.5% is British and Irish.
He was 100% correct. He got it on the nose. That's pretty cool.
Heritage, 0.1% Ashkenazi Jewish.
Word. I feel like I aced the test.
Good job, man.
That's noise. Why even say
I didn't
it?
think that the European half would be so spot on. I've been telling the truth all these years.
Next, we're moving on to Courtney. All right, so Courtney, are you ready?
Oh, I'm nervous. Me and Allison, we're really hoping we're cousins or related in some way. It's gonna happen and we're excited, anxious to know the results.
You are actually 77.1% Sub-Saharan African.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow. My family does not talk about it, so I was just picking up whatever cultures were around my neighborhood, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm part of that. I sprinkled in a little of that.
Of your Sub-Saharan African heritage, your DNA has 72.9% West African, 2.3% African hunter-gatherer.
I don't know what they mean by
African hunter-gatherer. On top of that, you are 19.7% European, 6.8% British and Irish, recent ancestry in the United Kingdom.
We're cousins.
We're cousins.
There it is, bro.
0.5% Iberian.
That's crazy.
0.3% Scandinavian. You're 1.8% East Asian and Native American.
Oh, there's more. Let's bring it all in. Everywhere, baby.
1.3% Southeast Asian, 0.3% Native American. Wow. Yeah. Percent is North.
That would make sense. Would have never.
Oh my God, I'm nervous. My stomach's like in knots.
I can't wait to hear.
In terms of like genetics, I literally know nothing.
You have 50.4% East Asian and Native American.
She got it right on.
47.9% of that is Native American. Recent ancestry in Mexico.
Yeah.
Which is what you thought from knowing where your grandparents lived. 0.4% Southeast Asian ancestry.
So cool.
There's also 39.2% European ancestry, 22% 22.4% Iberian, evidence of ancestry in Spain, 0.4% Ashkenazi Jewish.
Wow, that's very interesting.
0.2% Sardinian, 0.1% Scandinavian. But we still got some more. You have 2.6% Sub-Saharan African ancestry, 1.6% is West African, and then you have 0.6% Western Asian and North African DNA. Hope that makes sense.
I feel kind of like overwhelmed. I've always had a really strong connection with my ancestors. I often call on them, make a very conscious contact with them. To hear that I have like pretty recent ancestry that is indigenous to Mexico, even goes as far as like the other side of the world, it just makes me feel really supported. It's really cool.
All right.
To know that I can go to some of these countries and connect with some of those energies. Like a really sad part about Mexican ancestry and Mexican culture is that a lot of records and histories have been erased. So one of those first kind of like really big steps in figuring out where all my ancestors came from and where they met, imagining love stories.
I'm glad that this is meaningful for you.
Jeez.
Next,
Directly
we've
to
got
Santa
Juan. Do you think there's anything else in there?
I'm excited to learn more.
You are, in fact, 45.6% East Asian and Native American. What that includes is 42.7% Native American with evidence of really recent ancestry in Mexico. And then the rest of that is 41.7% European, and of that, 26.9% is Iberian, and that's, again, something like Spanish or Portuguese. In addition, you are 0.6%
he's
Balkan.
not Asian. That would have already been there. Balkan.
You also have 0.4% Ashkenazi Jewish heritage.
What up?
Cousin.
0.1% Sardinian heritage.
All I really knew is that my ancestors were from Mexico. There was colonization that happened there, so I knew about the Iberian and Native American.
And we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more.
So you are also 3.7% Sub-Saharan African.
Whoa. Very cool.
Wow.
2% is West African. It's actually really common for Central and South America to have a little bit of West African heritage.
Very cool. Awesome.
You also have 1.7% Western Asian and North African heritage. 1.2% North African and Arabian.
We're so related, man.
They're so surprised.
Did you learn anything that you didn't know before?
A few percentages of substance.
Now you know about your heritage.
We can track back to maybe the 1500s. When it comes to before that, we just existed. I really need to know.
There's a couple twists on that. You are 80.5% European.
Jesus.
Whoa.
This is what I think might be a little bit of a surprise to you. You have 48.2% Ashkenazi Jewish DNA. So almost 50% Ashkenazi Jewish.
That's a lot.
Whoa. My family has a long history of Judaism, but I'm also surprised that it showed up on this. We're still Jewish till this day.
17.1% Iberian.
Whoa, okay.
Next, you have 12.7% Sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay.
There's almost ancestry in Brazil, African heritage specifically, and
Okay,
there
so they
is
do go
evidence of recent ancestry in Brazil. So you were
Oh
right
no,
about
it's
that.
recent ancestry. It's not.
This is so cool. My family only knows it by story.
It's the recent ancestry is like a separate thing. That's like they can tell from like more specific markers in the DNA, but that's just Native American. I don't think that they currently can break it down to find in the DNA that it is from Native American. It's very specific and complicated, and this stuff is not as developed as they claim it is.
It's a proof. How I this no.
When these probably is just
What?
It's like maybe that's not true.
You've got a long list.
Welcome to the long list club, champ.
Oh my goodness. I'm like nervous. I'm gonna throw up.
Did somebody have a bucket?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Geez.
You're
Do
just
you wanna hold
like
my hand?
in the splash zone. I'm fine.
We're sitting up here.
Good job.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. You are in fact exactly 50% East Asian and Native American.
Okay, but is that Chinese or is that just indigenous?
And of that, actually only 37.7% is identified with our algorithm as Chinese.
What?
Her mind just broke. You just broke her.
Oh God. At least I'm Asian though, you guys.
3% Southeast Asian. 2.5%.
That's Southeast Asian. Okay, the Southeast Asian in this case, that can exist in Chinese people, totally normal. The Manchurian and Mongolian, that exists in Han Chinese people, totally normal. Broadly East Asian, that's Chinese. So she is 50% Chinese, even with these small amounts of Manchurian, which is a part of China. It's not Han Chinese, by the way that they mark it. But that's 50% Chinese. That is 50% Chinese.
And Manchurian and Mongolian.
What? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, there's more coming.
Okay, I'm ready.
We're cousins for sure.
42.5% European. Of that, 17.9% is Eastern European, evidence of recent ancestry in Poland.
Hey.
7.2% Balkan, 6.5% Italian, and then on top of that, you have 1% French and German.
Oh, look at you.
This is a common point of confusion. When we say French and German, that doesn't just mean that you're thinking about like France and Germany. It kind of means the countries that are really close to them, like bordering them in that area. So that includes like the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Austria. So like a bunch of countries in there.
How you feeling?
I don't know, you guys.
She's not even done.
She's not even done. Your list is long.
Man, I'm the most boring guy here.
My family's been all around apparently.
0.6% Iberian.
Wow. Oh my.
That is West country heritage.
Excited. I didn't know.
Heritage.
I know absolutely nothing. My dad doesn't know his father. I've never met my mom's dad. From the point of my birth, my
He's got an
dad's
Irish jersey
African American, my
Is
mom's
that a
white,
Notre
and
Dame
so it's
jersey?
been from that point on, this is what you're gonna deal with type of thing. Not we're gonna go back in history, but it's like this is the problems that are gonna be in front of you and this is how you face them. So I've never really thought about it that much before. I guessed like total wild guesses.
I don't know why she said 27.
I don't know.
You do have a very long list.
Do I really?
Ooh.
You have 60.2% European ancestry.
Okay.
12.8% of that is Eastern Europe.
And that's because that black DNA, the sub-Saharan DNA in America, a lot of black Americans have 15 to 20% of white DNA.
European, 10.3% French and German.
Okay.
4.3% British and Irish.
So this is a good question. They're not entirely accurate. They depend on a number of things, and just the data itself. Like, there's been so much movement of people throughout time that like there isn't such a thing as 100% Irish, because there's mixes within Irish itself in any other country. Whereas, and also you can get more or less from certain of your ancestors and others. And far enough back, you might not have any DNA from your ancestors, even though they're directly in your line of ancestry. So if you test with 2 or more companies, yeah, you'll get slightly different results just based on how their specific algorithm is. So it's not like, this isn't a set in stone thing.
With
and yes, each company has different databases, as in they're going to be, they get a lot of this data from comparing it to other people. So it's going to be different based on that. But, you know, if you have something like, if you have a high enough number, like if you're like 50% something, that's usually pretty accurate. Once you get into the smaller numbers and more specific, it's less accurate.
evidence of recent ancestry in the United Kingdom.
Oh.
Okay.
And then 1.6% Iberian. And again, that's Spanish and Portuguese.
Okay.
1.5% Balkan.
What? Okay.
Balkan ancestry reflect southeastern part of Europe, countries kind of bordering the Mediterranean, like Greece or Albania, Serbia, Croatia, things like that.
Got it.
You have 1.4% Italian ancestry.
Okay.
1.3% Scandinavian.
There's so many.
Yeah. And then that's your European heritage.
Wow, that's a lot. I never really like thought into that before.
You have 33.5% Sub-Saharan African, 28.8%. So most of it is West Asian and North African DNA. 0.3% of that is Western Asian. Some people might describe as the Middle East, Hispanic.
Hello, my name is Lexus and my family.
We're going to move on to the next one. Let's see. Okay, so this is a guy who, this is just a YouTuber that I like to watch. Geography Now. He makes good geography videos. So this is going to be him specifically. I'll try to go through this pretty quickly. She didn't look 60% white. I think she did. I think that people tend to, because Black Americans who are not themselves generally 100% sub-Saharan. I think people think that being 100% black isn't as dark as what actually being 100% sub-Saharan African is. Also, you know, when I'm saying sub-Saharan in this context, I'm really talking about Bantu people specifically, because when you're looking at the United States and anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, that's where those people are coming from. So yeah, my DNA heritage results. Watch this one.
I got my test results back. So this is gonna be a interesting filler week. What is my heritage? It's gonna be about me. So a long time ago, Geography Ben hit me up and he works for myheritage.com. And you know, he sent in a kit for Fan Friday. I opened it up and you can use I come from a second gen, I call a complicated ethnic background. See, I am what you would call told right from the get-go, Paul, you are half Korean.
Wait, so his parents were both abandoned by their white American fathers? That's awful. That sucks.
And then they always told me, on your dad's side, he is half Italian, and on your mom's side, we assume her dad is Irish French. So my whole life, I thought I was Korean, Italian, Irish, French. I'm Cortala Wrench. And I kind of...
Cortala Wrench? God.
You know, banked off of that identity my whole life. In high school, I kind of went through this cringy, like, Asian phase where I tried to, like, reclaim my Asian heritage, tried to, like, speak more Korean and then act more Korean around my friends because I thought it was cool and it made me unique. But then that kind of backfired when I actually lived in Korea amongst real Koreans and they were like, 바보 같은 씹새끼야, 넌 한국 사람 아니야, 넌 외국인이야. So that whole part...
Yeah, yeah, Asian racism is on another level. It is heavy.
My life was like emotional damage. Actually, I should do a Korean accent. Emotional damage. So you couldn't go back to a place that was recovering from war. Complicated. But my mom was told her biological father was Irish and French. You know.
Okay, maybe I used the word abandoned too quickly. It's possible this was against. Oh, I'm like thinking I'm down, but I'm still up on Twitter. Okay, the YouTube stream is down.